I was getting a smoothie at a Julius Caesar. It's a smoothie place. Actually, you know what? It's not Julius. It's Orange Julius. But I couldn't see the sign well until very recently someone told me it wasn't Julius Caesar. Either way, I was there, right? I was there, and they put the name of the smoothie in big letters, and they put all the ingredients in little letters. So then I was leaning forward on the counter as far as I could. My stomach was on the counter. I was leaning just to see what was in one of the smoothies that I might like, right? So then the cashier, she's turned around, she's bent over, she's doing something with supplies. So I'm leaning over the counter as much as I can. But then she stands up, she turns around, and we're nose to nose. And then she limboed on me. She leaned back as far as she could. And I wanted to explain to her, ma'am, I wasn't trying to kiss you, all right? I have very bad eyes. I actually went to the optometrist. He put the thing in front of my face. I don't know what it's called, but it's the thing from the Justin Timberlake album. But I didn't want to explain all that, so I was just like, I don't love you, and walked. I've always wanted to be good at sports. Ever since I was little, be really good at sports, impress my friends and stuff. But I'm such a theater nerd that one time I was talking about football, and forgot the word quarterback. And I saw him and I panicked. I saw him and I was like, oh, he plays the lead. He's not one of the understudies on the bench. He's a star. He's the best one. I only played football once. I was 10 years old. Little league, made me a lineman. That's the right response. Because now it's my job to protect the main character. This isn't even the part that I auditioned for, all right? I would have loved the role of team manager or something backstage. But of course, the kid across from me is the black dude from the Green Mile, so he's the biggest person I've ever seen in my entire life. And they blow the whistle, and he hit me so hard that there was a divot in the ground where my shoulder went in. I got up, I didn't even tell anybody that I quit. I just started walking off stage. I started walking up, I was done. Took off my football costume, because that's what I called it. I was done. I wasn't gonna play more, but then the director runs up and gives me a speech about being a quitter. I was like, obviously, sir, you didn't see what just happened, okay? I might be 10 on my right side for the rest of my life. And then they make this big kid come up and apologize to me, which he shouldn't have to do. You know, it's not his fault. I should be also playing Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or something. But he walked up to me, towering over me, blocking out the sun, leaning over me, and was like, I'm sorry. It's like, that's interesting. That's interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're all 10 here, sir. Why are you 32, okay? I didn't even make it to intermission. There was no way I was getting through 4 acts of that game. I was done. I moved on to basketball, which was a different mistake. I thought needing height to play basketball was a suggestion. It's not. I was walking home one day and these kids on the public court asked me if I want to play a game of pickup with them. And I don't know, you know, I ran home and ran back real fast because I don't know if you play pickup with a bunch of strangers, but it's like having friends. I was very excited. So I ran home and ran back some shorts that were far too short. I was out there looking like a dad, just like, you're not getting past me, buddy. Are you not gonna, no. It's one of the worst mistakes in my life. This kid, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, jumped over me and dunked. I'm guarding him and he just flew away. Which should be against the rules. If he's allowed to fly, I should at least get a knife to cut an Achilles or something. Like, you're not gonna fly over me twice, sir. This dude jumped over me and dunked the ball so hard that he cracked the glass on the backboard. The ball hit me on top of my head. I hit the ground. He hung there for a second and then landed, straddling me, got his face this close to mine and was like, ooh. He dunked on me so hard that night I dreamed he was my dad. Like, I've never been more terrified. I don't know what my problem is, you know? I'm gonna tell you guys something, because we're family. Okay? I'm gonna tell you something I don't tell a lot of people. I don't even feel black some days. I feel like an alien. that snatched a black bite and didn't do any research at all, didn't do anything, didn't read a book, didn't watch a movie, doesn't know what Boys in the Hood is, but loves trains. Like, I don't know if I haven't had enough dates for a grown man or too many dates for someone who's autistic, because I'm definitely on the spectrum. I talk about sharks too much on the front end of the conversation. I do know what one of my problems is. I lived alone too long. You know? I think everybody should live alone and be single for at least a year, you know? Get to know yourself, right? Right? Get to figure yourself out, because maybe it's you. You know? You get to live alone, get to be single, get to figure out what's going on in here. But if you do it too long, you just evolve into a monster. Just have a downward spiral. The first few months of living alone that you live alone are the most liberating months of your entire life. And the next months of living alone that you live alone are the most depressing months of your entire life. I had the weekend off the first month I ever lived alone. I was like, ooh, looks like somebody's gonna be naked for the next 3 days. I gotta wear clothes for nobody. I'll be naked over here, it's gonna be great. I had that same weekend off 6 months later. I was like, what's the point of clothes? Now, I knew I was depressing my friends. I started getting gifts that were purely just to keep me alive. I just started getting puzzles left and right. My one friend, he gave me a cake, which would normally be nice, but he gave me too much cake. He gave me 7/8 of a huge, huge chocolate birthday cake. And I think in his head, he was like, this will keep him alive at least a week, and then I've done my part. I can't babysit. You know? But living alone, being single, that's too much freedom. I need a girlfriend or a roommate now just to shame me back to reality. You can do whatever you want. I can do whatever I want, no consequences, anytime I want. I got in the shower with an umbrella to see how it would feel. You looking at me like you don't know what I'm talking about. I got naked, all right? Got in the shower, turned the water, and lifted the umbrella. I was like, it does feel like rain. Will someone call today? Oh, it's just like being outside. Except I control the weather. I saw that in D.C., the 911 operators are what? Oh my God, y'all don't even know what I was gonna say. What's happening? Oh my God. Trust me, this is gonna go somewhere good. Just let me do the show. Oh my God. For a split second, I was like, are y'all gonna come up here? Like this feels like the last thing Chris Rock saw before it just the 22 of you just Wow. Okay. All right. Well, 911. Or they're basically starting a program where 911 operators are going to get $800 if they go to all of their shifts, right? If they don't call out, if they don't miss a shift. And I didn't know that this was that much of a problem, right? Because when you think about it, 911 is a pretty hard job to call out of. Yeah, I mean, like if you work at 911 and you're like, hey, I can't come in today, and they're like, why? And you're like, oh, it's an emergency. It's like, oh, tell me about it. Tell me what. Like, nah, it's personal. But yeah, apparently that's been happening. Apparently there's been very, very few shifts that have been like, did you call them or something? You were like, mm-hmm.
Did you? Did something happen to you personally, or?
It's just a frustration I have with the city. Like,
Oh, okay. Oh, you just don't like it here. Like, you got a bigger thing. You got a bigger.
if I call them, I'm gonna die.
Yeah. But to be fair, when you call them, it's cause you're finna die. Like, it's. Got you. This is my thing. It's like, it's gotta be hard to a certain degree. I try to give people a little bit of grace because it's gotta be hard to like take those calls, you know? Because whenever I get an emergency call as a friend, I don't handle it well. You know what I mean? Like when my friend calls me as if I'm 911, calls me as like, oh my God, I need you to come pick me up. I need your help. I'm always immediately like, why'd your stupid ass go over there to begin with? Like they're clearly still in the emergency. And I'm like, see, that's why I told your dumb ass not to go over there. Because you love hanging out with them. They make you feel cool and everything. But now that somebody got popped, now you want help. So now I'm supposed to come over and get shot so I can prove I'm really your friend. Because notice you didn't call him. You called me, all right? Because you knew he wouldn't come. Now I'm sending an Uber driver over there just with a note to be like, don't wait long. Like if he doesn't get in, then he not there. So I get it. I get how it's got to be one of the hardest jobs because you're taking the emergency, but you're also powerless, right? You can send somebody the way I sent that Uber. And to be fair, you know, when 911 sends somebody, they know that they're the emergency service. My driver thought he was picking me up. My friend running up to the car. He's over here like, for Josh? He's like, yeah, whatever. You know? So it's like you're in a tough spot because you are genuinely powerless to what's happening. And you must hear just the worst stories. Just the worst things. You know what I mean? Nobody calls to chat. You know what I mean? Nobody calls 911 to be like, how's your day going? Does anybody ever ask you how you know what I mean? I will say that, okay, I'm digressing for a second, but it does make me mad. As much as we are surveilled, why when you call 911, they don't know it's you? Do you know what I mean? Like, I get so mad. Like, I've only had to call 911 a couple times in my whole life, and then they're like, 911, what's your emergency? Like, what? What are you talking about? What is my, who am I? And they're like, where are you? I called from a home phone. I called from a hard line. People don't even have those anymore. You don't know exactly where I am right now? It's like, no, we actually can't trace the call. Oh, okay. You want to come find? I'm going to kill the president. Can you find me now? Like, that's... That's insane. We can't tell where you are right now. We don't know. What? You know my whole browser history, and you don't know where I am. All right, whatever. But then, yeah, people have been calling out, so now they've started this initiative to be like, hey, maybe. And look, I don't know what 911 operators in D.C. or anywhere in the country, I don't know what they get paid. I'm sure whatever they get paid is not enough, because I'm sure that every day, no matter the situation, at least one tragic thing happens that they just have to take home with them. You know? And then you have to take the next emergency like you didn't just hear the last emergency. You know? Because nobody thinks about that. When you call 911, that person probably wants to tell you, can you give me a second? Can you give me a second? Because there was an active shooter situation, and then they just hung up. So now I'm talking to you. So I'm sorry, what's that about your chest pains again? You know? So it's got to be incredibly difficult. I understand why you wouldn't go back. I've quit jobs for far less. I think if I worked at 911 and I got a bad enough call the first like 5 calls, I'd be like, y'all, this isn't for me. I'll send money or something, but I can't. This is bad stuff. I don't have the help in my heart that I thought I had. You know what I mean? Because then also you have to, you have to not be the problem. Like there's a show called I Survived that I will watch sometimes with my girlfriend, and it's amazing how many times the 911 operator isn't just not helpful. They're like actively contributing to the emergency, because then the person will call and be like, hey, there's somebody in the house. What? There's somebody in the house. You gotta get over here quick, because there's somebody in the house. It's not you? Somebody plus me. Is in the house. What room? I don't know what room. But they're not supposed to be in the house at all. Speak up, I can't hear you. Your voice down. Look, don't get an attitude with me. You called me, all right? Don't get an attitude with me because you called me, all right? I didn't call you going, hey, how you doing? You called over here, okay? I'm sorry. Just keep your voice down. So it must be hard. It must be hard because you're trying to help and you could be hurt. Because then also you hear stories of people who were like, yeah, I called 911, but they couldn't hear me. So then they hung up. I'm like, how do you not have the good headphones? I'm talking about every 911 operator. I don't like that little thing that Halle Berry had in the movie with the little mic and the little earpiece, and it was only on one side. No wonder they can't hear anything. I want them to have the big old cover the ear, cover half the head headphones. You know, the ones that gamers have? You hear everything. When I play games, I can hear this kid's mom's footsteps in the hallway on the way to knock the controller out of his hand. Like, you can hear everything. They got them fighting. Not enough resources, not enough people. Because honestly, it's like, look, you know, we can criticize, but it's like, I really don't want to do it. You know, like, I think if people want to get it, like, really understand, I think everybody, I believe this for a lot of jobs, but I think that everybody should have to take 2 911 calls. Just because you would be like, all right, so I let both mine die. That's my bad. I didn't know how to handle it. I panicked. I just started crying while they were talking, so I didn't take in any information or anything. That's my bad. I won't criticize as much anymore. You know? $800 for all of your shifts. Just because you still get paid. And then an $800 bonus if you make it to all the shifts. I don't know. I think that maybe. Let's try it. Let's see. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, I heard, okay, I did not know this person, but I heard a story one time from a friend when I lived in Chicago, who his cousin worked at 911, and then he called out which I didn't even know they were allowed to do back then. I thought you had to like really go in every day, or they would give you a total. They'd be like, hey, listen, this is how bad the day was without you. So as an incentive to keep you coming into work, right? But basically, you know, his boy called out, and then while he called out, and then he okay. Y'all are gonna judge me. All right. He called out, and then he got into a car accident, right? And so he wasn't driving. His friend was driving, and it was just like, it was a fender bender, but it was like a bad one. And so then he went ahead and called just in case. And then when he called, apparently they were like, 911, what's your emergency? And he was like, nigga, it's me. Must be tough. In Chicago, there's a lunch lady that was arrested for stealing $1.5 million worth of chicken wings. As soon as I read the headline, I was like, I have questions. How many is 1.5 million chicken wings? Because are we talking like the price of specials? You know what I mean? Because like if those are 50-cent wings, we're talking about millions of wings. No? Or these like the more expensive wings, like the nice wings that got some real girth to them. You know what I mean? Maybe they're $1 each, you know. $1.5 million worth of chicken wings. And this was basically during the pandemic. She was in charge of ordering the food, right? And so she would order the food, and she started ordering the food, but then ordering some wings on the side, right? Like any of us. And so she started a whole hustle with these wings, right? And she drove the cargo van, so it was the perfect crime. She's the one ordering the food, and then she's the one picking up the food. So she was ordering the cargo vans, she was using the cargo vans after ordering the food. So she was basically taking the billing, but she was keeping the meat. No one knows where the wings are. Yet another mystery, right? Because any number of things could have happened with these wings. And I want to be clear about something. The program that she's ordering the wings for is for kids who are doing remote learning but still receiving a school lunch, right? So some of those kids, there's a chance that some of those kids went hungry off of her scheme, right? Which is sad. It's terrible. And it made me wonder what made it worth it? Getting all these wings, right? Did she have a side business? Was she going up to like a wing stop? Like, hey. Anytime somebody's a criminal, they whisper in my mind, hey. You deal in wings, I deal in wings. I got some wings outside. Fell off a truck. You don't ask any questions. You make a little more money. And then Wingstop is like, no, we're not going to take your outdoor falling off of a truck wings. No, thank you. Nah, I'm good. And then she was like, okay, all right. I already have an offer at Buffalo Wild Wings. Because I'll tell you what, I have been to some wing places in my life where you eat the wings, you're like, this been on the floor. Like, this is not good. This is no reason they charged a quarter, all right? This is bad. So maybe, maybe she was flipping them. Maybe she was going over there with cases of wings to like local restaurants, being like, hey, just go ahead, serve it to the people. They're good wings, right? If you buy wings off of her, you gotta be watching your dining room floor that night like, nobody dying, I guess it was some good wings, okay. Really made a deal. And then I had a friend point out that maybe, perhaps, she was doing some sort of Robin Hood thing where she knows, because she's been working in the system for, about a decade, that a lot of food goes to waste. Maybe she was ordering food to give some food away, which is fine. I'd like to believe that little, like, chicken wing Robin Hood type angle. You know what I mean? Like an angle where she just is out on the corner deep frying in real time, just like feeding the hungry. Get over here, burn your mouth on this, But even in that scenario, you had to take food from a kid who was already hungry. And one of the reasons they caught her is that when they were checking the budget, they saw that the district was $300,000 over budget. You gotta be more careful than that. Like she ordered all these wings, I guess in the period of like a few months, which is gonna be noticed, right? And one of the reasons they caught her is because the schools don't order chicken wings. Kind of almost feels like entrapment. It was even an option. Like that's. I wonder when they saw the order if they were like, chicken wings? Okay, we'll do our best. But they don't do chicken wings at school lunches because of the bones. Yeah, because you have dumb kids that'll eat them. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm brilliant, but I always knew not to eat a bone. I don't know why we coddling these children to go ahead and, let the kids have some real flavor in their lives. We can't have flavor because this one kid gonna try to eat the whole thing. Oh, it's annoying. But it is crazy, because when you think about it, if she had just stuck to, like, chicken nuggets, she'd be running an enterprise right now. Because I'd like to believe, just me personally, that she was, like, a chicken wing kingpin. At 7 figures, you're doing something with those wings. You know what I mean? I'd like to think that, she'd be showing up to the drop and everything. Looks like The Wire, but it's for chicken wings. She shows up with the wings. They don't show up with the money, And she's like, oh, you don't have the money? Okay. Grab them. And then two goons run up and grab the dude, and he's like, wait, I can pay. I swear I can pay. And then they make him put his arm in like a chicken wing, you know what I mean? And then they put his arm on the hood of the car, and he had a chicken wing. He's like, no, please, don't do it, please. And then one of the goons just stomping his elbow, like just something that really hurts. They send him away, he's like, oh. Don't forget the money next time. Because when I saw her mugshot, it was crazy. Because, she's a bit older. I believe she's like 66, 68 or something like that. So it's kind of odd when you see an older person in a mugshot, because she over here looking like Deadpool's roommate. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, how you look like a lunch lady and guilty in the same picture? You could tell she had served some lunches too, just from the picture. Picture had a little sass to it, just a little like. You can tell that's how she be looking at kids when they ask for an extra pudding or something. Oh, that's tough though. They gave that woman 9 years. Right? 9 years. That feels disproportionate. You know what I mean? The state doesn't care that much about chicken wings. They don't even care about the kids that much. That's 9 years? Wow. People on Wall Street don't do a day. Like that's 9 years. You know, I think that's too much. If it were up to me, I don't even know if I would have her really serve jail time. If it were up to me, it'd be probation and she has to eat $1.5 million worth of chickens. Oh, we know what you having for lunch for the rest of your life, ma'am. 6 years in, she's like, I've had every sauce there is. I can't do this anymore.